College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
It's like dynasties for other people to kind of talk about after your career is done. All you can do is enjoy the moment. I know we've won a lot of football games and been in a lot of Super Bowls, but until you go out there and do it year in and year out and have the mindset of continuing to be great, I don't know if you ever really just talk about it. You just focus on just going out there and winning as much as possible.
I think what impressed me the most about last week in Brock Purdy, the guy won that game with his legs. He took off on 3 different occasions on these big run plays that kept drives alive and resulted in points. And
they're a good team. They've got guys that could score it, and they've got, they play that 1-3-1 zone, and we're going to have our A game, especially going up there. And typically, we don't play as well up there.
The Larned Lady Indians hosted Smoky Valley in a makeup game on this Thursday night, and it was Smoky Valley winning by 19 points. Final score 59-40. Smoky Valley gets to the free throw line 26 times in this game compared to just 11 for the Lady Indians. In the boys contest, it was a tight game most of the way. Although Smoky Valley led by 10 early in the fourth quarter, the Indians came back and tied it up but could not get over the hump. The Indians lose it tonight 42-30.
Just from the past few years, they've been so good in basketball. When they had the Weesey kid and Steinmates, they've always got good athletes and they got good coaching.
Our conference, the KJCC, you add in Northeastern Oklahoma and Carl Albert State. A lot of area kids that'll be out here, and by far one of the top regions in the nation.
Only thing I don't like is them to put the bag before the game, because the game always has to come first. Chase the game. Like, if you chase greatness, the money's going to come. Don't chase the money, because greatness don't come just because of the money. The money comes because of the greatness.
6 yards away from Pontiac. 3rd and 3. We'll see a pickup sometime on the right side, possibly. Montana looking, throwing in the end zone. Dwight Clark.
And welcome
to madhouse at Candlestick.
It was. Welcome to Sports Day here on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM, the Friday show. Man, what a long week it has been. 3 days? I can't take it anymore. Anyway, Friday's here, the weekends, Super Bowl Sundays coming up. We've got high school basketball, a lot of good things to talk about here on the show today. Our guests today, Jeremy Combs, his team, not doing bad. They did lose that one, though. I mean, 22-1. Come on. It's not. They'll be undefeated at this time. No.
Not bad. Might be a little bit of an understatement for best start for the Cougars since the 99-2000, I believe it is, for the men's basketball.
We'll talk about it with head coach Jeremy Combs today. Also, Ring Maleeth, who's had 7 3-pointers in the game on Wednesday against Butler. He's going to be here with us. We'll talk with Sunflower Sports Solutions, Connor Nickel. You're not going to want to miss this one. Talking about high school basketball and wrestling. Also an interesting take on this year's Great Bend Panther boys team. Great Bend Panther swimming coach Kerry Carper recaps yesterday's Western Athletic Conference meet held in Great Bend. One of the Friday sports headlines sounds the past 24 hours or so. So, boys, let's get going. Did I introduce you guys?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. All right. Mike Corson is here, Aaron Clark, and Mike Hesher, whose love triangles have become legendary in the area, and now we find out that someone, a sweetie obviously, is leaving Mountain Dew at his doorstep. What is happening here, Hesh?
I wish I knew, but I've had twice in the past week there has been Mountain Dew at my door.
How does that? You come on the show and slander the Hoisington basketball teams, and then you get Mountain Dew left on your door.
I didn't slander the Hoisington basketball teams. I told the truth.
Getting that caffeine for some staying up late.
Well, they know he's got 2 games in a row. She wants him to be well rested for the night.
I knew I should have kept my mouth shut on that.
He rolls into town tonight from Lions, but he'll have Mountain Dew in him, man. He's going to be rolling high tonight, boys.
We're going to find out this sweetie has a sweet beard and mustache.
More than likely, yes.
All right, sounds the past 24 hours. Here we are. We've talked about it for 2 weeks. Patrick Mahomes on the doorstep of the next dynasty. However, he needs to stay focused on the task at hand. Drew Brees believes in Brock Purdy. He'll be on the other side against Patrick Mahomes as they kick it off 3 o'clock on Sunday for the pregame. And again, Mike Hesher from our operations department tells us what the broadcast looks like on B1043 The Point.
We will have the Chiefs pregame show from 3 to 4, 4 to 4 on until the end of the we'll go to Westwood 1 with Kevin Harlan. He will have play-by-play, and I'm not sure who his color man is. But then after the presentation of the Lombardi Trophy, we will go back to the Chiefs postgame.
Okay, and we'll also have all the breakdown ESPN on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Okay, the game's here, boys. Hesh, I know how you're going, so just go ahead and spit it out and get it out of the way. Dr. Doom hits again.
Well, now I have a bet. I got to take the 49ers now, or else I'm going to lose some donuts.
Who'd you make the bet with?
A caller on Trading Post. I am now running a gambling site on Trading Post. So,
do we got scores?
No. Well, it was funny. I was listening to a couple stations this morning. Everybody had 27 for the winning team.
No, that's what I heard yesterday, 50s and 60s for the total, but I'm thinking 27-14-ish.
Yeah, every one of them was 27 for the winning
and I'm
team.
24-17, so I'm a little off.
Okay, I'll just go ahead and jump in here. Do I have to make a pick? Because I'm going to go with the Chiefs, but they're going to have to score. I think the Chiefs, the winning team's going to have to score more than 30 points, as well as the Chiefs' defense has been playing. There's too many weapons on the other side of that field. McCaffrey scares me to death. Shanahan's offense, I talked yesterday about the bootleg. You know, that I hate that because it keeps guys at home, especially on the weak side. You're running that boot look. I mean, you can't have that rusher from the weak side coming down and crashing down on that dive play. And they'll screen you if they want to run the bet. Anyway, Deebo Samuel, they've got another really good receiver.
Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah, they're good, man. I think the Chiefs can win, and if they give up, I think Chiefs will have to score more than 30, and the Chiefs' defense is playing good. I like San Francisco's offense. And the Chiefs, can they run the ball? Well, they're the best rushing team in the playoffs. Again, San Francisco's been good all year till the end of the year. And they've been the worst team giving up the run. You know, I love the new 3 tight end look the Chiefs have because essentially it's opened up the field for Travis Kelce because basically how are you going to match up? Okay, well, you look at him, the way they put him in positions where he's a wide receiver. So I don't know, but I think the Chiefs are going to have to score over 30 points to win the game.
I think it's going to be really fun to watch because we're coming with two sides that kind of have a reputation for coming out of bye weeks with electric game plans.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's Kyle Shanahan on his end or whether it's Andy Reid and even Steve Spagnuolo, defensive coordinator for Kansas City, he's been known to craft up some really funny or really effective defenses after bye weeks. And something that Kyle Shanahan likes to do is keep his formations tight. It's just something that even as it's kind of evolved through different aspects, some of his coaches who have left his offense, they'll expand it. He still likes to keep it in tight. He likes to line up Kyle Juszczyk, Deebo Samuel, and even Christian McCaffrey to some extent.
And there's going to be motion every play.
Exactly, but it's going to be fun to see how the Chiefs cornerbacks handled it because they haven't been afraid to get into the run game. They haven't been afraid to get physical, and a lot of what Kyle Shanahan likes to do is based off of that kind of outside zone. They supplement it with some power scheme now a little more than they used to in the early goings, but still being able to reach the edge with Christian McCaffrey, with Deebo Samuel is a huge part of what they like to do. And when they have cornerbacks like L'Jarius Sneed, like Trent McDuffie, they make that really hard, not only in the run game, but they're guys who can pass coverage too. I'm very excited to see Chiefs have used L'Jarius Sneed kind of to follow an ex receiver. I'm interested to see if they're going to have him shadowing Deebo Samuel or Brandon Ayuk. Ayuk is the more traditional X receiver. He's someone who you think is going to beat you outside the numbers. But Deebo Samuel, he's just that.
How tall is Purdy?
Purdy, I want to say he's around 6 foot. I don't think he's a big guy.
I think you use the same strategy on him as you've always talked about. Well, you need to look over the offensive lineman, which we've contested. You cannot do that, but he's not that big, and he can run as good as anybody, and he'll find that seam. Are they going to? just that push rush, just up the middle, and when he throws it, get your hands up in the air. Chiefs do that better than anyone.
One thing that could hurt their Chiefs, though, in trying to defend the San Francisco run, Charles Omenihu, he's going to be out, and he's been doing a lot. He started the season out. I think he was
Carson's K-State boy is going to have to step up and
good old
get some
Felix
snaps.
Enrique Uzama. It's going to be fun to see if he does, but
who wins?
I've been putting in some research today. I don't know. It's going to be.
Yeah, so that's my point. X's and O's, they're balanced on paper. What about the human element? You got the Chiefs, Mahomes, all that experience. You got the extended halftime, the big stage, and you got a second-year quarterback on the other side. So it doesn't really matter what the X's and O's are. Can you execute it? That would be more my concern. So I lean towards Kansas City because of the experience.
I would go with that. That makes complete sense. I don't.
I think I'm going to go with Kansas City as well.
No!
I'm trying. Well, actually,
no!
Hold on a second, because Joe Tooney's out.
That doesn't matter. Allegretti's been fine. I mean, you're not telling me that the entire offense is going to be hinged on a guard. If you say tackle, yeah, I would say that, but I'm not.
But the tackle play's already been shady for
Allegretti's been just fine the last two. They're leading the league in rushing in the playoffs. I'm not going to fret over Joe Tooney, the left guard. I'm sorry.
It's fair.
I'm giving you some compliments. Offensive tackle guy. I'll go with the
offensive tackle could be, but I don't know. I just think the Chiefs, with the way they've been playing, I don't feel good picking against Patrick Mahomes. But looking at Kyle Shanahan, it's kind of interesting because he's almost in the same position, or in a similar one at least, to Andy Reid before he won that Super Bowl in Kansas City. An offensive play caller whose schemes are extremely effective, just not quite able to get over the hump there in the postseason. Kind of a mirrored image. If he doesn't win this one,
yeah, but those guys aren't going out. I mean,
I don't think he's on
oh God, we got we get down here. It says we're gonna lose. I don't think they even think about it. We're not in there. We're not.
But there did a recent article came out talking about Kyle Shanahan meeting up with Sean McVay after the Rams won that Super Bowl, and Shanahan admitted to McVay he hates that he won it because it's just even worse than a stranger winning it. It's a guy that he knows so in-depthly, so close, and to know that he got there, McVay got there, lost, got back, and was able to win it. That just eats at Shanahan.
He's not a team player. He's not rooting for someone to score a touchdown in the company, right?
Well, that's not his company anymore. That's even a division.
All right, we need to move on here a little bit. Okay, so you've got the Chiefs.
I'll go Chiefs.
Yeah, I got Chiefs.
24-17.
And of course
San Francisco.
Darn, I hoped you'd win. You'd leave the donuts around here, but evidently they're not destined for this place. Okay. Head coach
Would you like to bet a dozen donuts as well?
That's not likely right now. Barton head coach Jeremy Combs. We'll be talking to him in a few minutes on facing Northwest Tech on the road tomorrow night in Goodland. Barton's won 13 in a row. They're coming off wins over Cloud. They went to Arc City, beat Cali. Dominant performance against Butler. Now you go out to Goodland against a Northwest Tech team that's been pretty good here of late, and they went to Coffeyville, and Coffeyville's not as good, but they traveled 7 hours and went down there and picked up a win. So this would be a trap game. Ring Maleeth also with Coach Cougars 15-1 overall, 15-1 in conference, 22-1 overall, still just a game ahead of Cali. Lady Cougars, they need to get a win as well, although I think it'll be much more easier for the Lady Cougars. Okay, Gary Wagner with the call last night. Larned basketball losing 2 at home to Smoky Valley. They're back at home tonight with Heston. Tough challenge there, 5:45 on Hits 106.9 with Gary Wagner and Buddy Tabler. Hoisington basketball in action last night. Hesh went 0-2 as well. They went to Haven, and the girls losing 55-43. The boys, they lost Haven 45-33. So Lions tonight is the destination for Mike Hesher. Coverage starting at 5:45 with Mike and Gene on 100.7 Eagle Country. Kyle Cree talking about the matchup tonight with Garden City. Panthers lost 57-56 in the first go-around. They are 2-2 in league play. Hayes High's 4-0. Okay, we're down at the end of the season now, okay? Like to see them go on a run, not lose the rest of the year, get that win against Hayes in the final game, get on a little roll, get on a little momentum, and we'll see if it happens tonight. Panthers against Garden City, 5:45 pregame on B1043 The Point with the Clarks. The Clark crew will be in. Lady Panthers play first at 6. They beat Garden City 44-34 in the first meeting. Other games tonight around the area, Garden City's Hayes is at Liberal tonight, Dodge City at Colby. That's in the WAC. Garden City will play tomorrow as well against Hooker, Oklahoma. And that's at Garden City. So let's see. Central Kansas League tonight. Let's go down to Central Prairie. Big game. I'll talk to Connor Nickel about this game tonight. Central Plains at La Crosse in the Central Prairie League. Ellenwoods at Kinsley tonight. O's Bison and Nest City, Victoria at St. John. Hope that wasn't something I needed. Where are we at here? Oh, Nathan Brockelman. You're going to be doing the PA
I am tomorrow.
Okay, so talking about the competition's going to be there for the
West Central District Championship there.
Okay, wrestling starts at 9 o'clock. Deion Sanders, I like this guy. Some people, hot and cold on him, but talking yesterday on the Dan Patrick Show, talking about how we're raising kids and about the wrong approach of high school kids wanting money in college.
He says that's what's wrong with this country is we want to raise a nation full of dogs, but we're raising a nation full of cats. And he turned around to the parents and said, that's for you parents.
Oh, so that was my favorite part. In the clip, he talks about we're raising a bunch of cats, but we want a bunch of dogs, and the parents behind him erupt. It's like he's talking about you get like, as a parent, that would be kind of like, is he talking? Like, what's he mean? Like, we've got a whole host of parents behind him, and they all erupt in applause, and it's kind of a little backhanded compliment.
Yeah, and the greater takeaway was he was asked, you walk into somebody's house, do you guarantee playtime? Do you guarantee money? He said, no, they don't ask me those questions. You earn a spot on my team, and we do not talk about money. You come play hard, those things come. You don't play hard, see ya.
Yeah.
Hard to argue with the guy. I mean, yeah, he says it in a way that he's kind of flashy.
He played football, man. I mean, now if it's the old, Green Bay Packers sweep of the old days, pulling both guards out there. Now, Deion wasn't one to go up and challenge that as much. But he would shut down half the field, and he's a very good coach. Okay, and finally, Vin Scully on the call on a play known simply as the catch. We're talking about this one, January 10th, 1982. How old were you then?
Not quite out yet. About a couple weeks shy.
You weren't even born.
So I didn't know that until you just said that. I've seen that play so many times, I figured I must have been about 13.
God, you young pups. Jiminy Christmas. The catch, the game-winning touchdown reception in the 1981 NFC Championship game between the Cowboys and eventual Super Bowl champion San Francisco at Candlestick. 58 seconds left in the game. 49ers face 3rd and 3. The Cowboys 6. San Francisco wide receiver Dwight Clark made a leaping grab in the back of the end zone to complete a 6-yard touchdown pass from quarterback Joe Montana, enabling the 49ers to defeat the Cowboys 28-27. The catch widely regarded as one of the greatest plays in National Football League history, I guess.
It's just cool that Vin Scully's on the call. Obviously, he passed away, known for his baseball calls. Candlestick no longer around.
Hank Stram was the color man.
And then I watched the subsequent where Montana drove the length of the field against Cincinnati in Super Bowl 23. Lots of Purdy comments on the YouTube.
You know what I remember about that Super Bowl is, what is his name? Creamer or
the dude that broke his leg?
Yes,
I remember that. That's the only thing I remember from that too.
And I don't watch those plays. I have never seen Joe Theismann's. I never have watched because but that one you couldn't help it. It was right there in front of you. Yep. Yeah, the leg goes sideways. All right, there you go. Sounds the past 24 hours or so. We're going to talk Barton basketball coming up, and then Connor Nickel here on the show. And then we'll see how much time we have left to talk about other things. Oh, by the way, Lamar Jackson was the MVP of the NFL. Oh, yeah. Well, okay.
I think I heard that.
Giving away the Booby Prize. There you go, Lamar. I hope you enjoy that all season long. Sports Day brought to you today by the Cougar Booster Club. Continue their efforts to make the Barton Athletic Department the best in the country. and also by Venture Corporation, reminding you to help a neighbor shop local when you can. Sports Day continues.
Community
after this.
bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Amy Herrera, Regional Retail Manager for your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time and I've helped many people navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people. I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you how we're committed to serving you in our communities. At Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
The need for nurses is constant. Barton Community College offers practical and registered nursing programs in Great Bend and Pratt. The affordable and challenging coursework is taught by experienced instructors who care about you and have a passion for teaching. Get hands-on training for this high-demand field with state-of-the-art simulation labs and on-site clinicals. The application deadline is March 1st. Apply online at nursing.bartonccc.edu.
Get the power you need for your farm equipment. The power of peace of mind that dependable Cenex lubricants deliver. With decades of proven off-road performance backed by the industry-leading Cenex Total Protection Plan warranty. Cenex heavy-duty diesel engine oils, hydraulic fluids, gear lubricants, and greases are formulated to provide superior protection for load-bearing equipment. The power you need to keep your business running like a well-oiled machine.
Contact American Plains Co-op Fuel Department in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor today.
It's time to talk Barton Cougar basketball with the head coach, Jeremy Combs, on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Sports Day brought to you in part today by Eller Automotive Repair, a local mechanic that can help, behind Great Bend Appliance Furniture and Sleep Source, and by Next Tech Wireless. Experience wireless built by Kansans for Kansas. Jeremy Combs joins us, head coach of the Barton Cougars, joined today by Ring Maleeth. Thanks for bringing the stars. You've got a lot of them, so
he's a special one, and one I definitely wanted to bring on here and let him talk to you a little bit.
Well, you've been on a nice run, 13 in a row, and what a big week for your basketball team last week, going on the road to Ark City, getting a 2-point win there, and then coming back and backing that up. You talk about a statement win, just taking apart a good Butler team on Wednesday.
Yeah, we went down on, and we've been really good on the road. I don't know what it is now, 11-0 on the road, and Cali's a great team, and but we were pretty motivated after stubbing our toe the first time we played them, and I thought the guys played a great game defensively and knew the scout, and we made it a little closer than it should have been. We made a big run in the first half over there, and it was led by an alley-oop from Ring, and then in the second half we kind of didn't come out and execute great, but defense kept us in the game, and they kind of got back in there a little bit, and then towards the end they hit a couple shots to make it closer, but anyway, we were able to pull that one off. But yeah, Wednesday's game was big time, but I tell you what, I think it all goes to our crowd. We had an unbelievable crowd there. Our players feed off that, and they loved it, and then of course Ring has a great game over there, and anytime you got a guy that scores 30, you're gonna do some good things.
Yeah, career night for you, Ring. And so did you go in when you did your scout on Butler, and of course you've already played him once this year, did you kind of know that the three ball would be open for the opportunity to take it?
Yeah, they kind of play defense like a pack defense, so I figured I'm gonna be wide open, and since we have a great point guard, I know he was just going to find me and be at the right position.
Okay, 7 of 10. There's one as you're out in warm-ups, you're going around and everything's going in, or I've talked to some people before that nothing's going in warm-ups, and then you get in the game and then you find that stroke. What was it like in pregame? Did you think you had a night coming like that?
Honestly, nah. It's just like warm-up. I was kind of missing shot, and I'm like, man, what's going on tonight? And then it just came to a game, and I was making every shot, so I was like, okay.
Yeah, okay, yeah. 7 trays, and it goes back, Jeremy, to found another way to win. Okay, 3 balls haven't been things you've been relying on this year, but, hey, it was there, and he had a big night.
Yeah, it's it seems like we have a different guy stepping up every night. Ring's had a really good stretch, but we always have one guy that, whether it's Brent Moss or Leger or Miles or Cooper Jackson. I mean, we just always have somebody that steps up, and that's what's pretty special about this team. I just don't. I'd be interested to see what some of these other coaches' scouts are like on us. We have scouts and we go through and we pick out the guys that, hey, we really want to focus on these guys. But I'd be interested to see, some of these other coaches who they're focusing on, because it'd be really hard to do with us, I think.
You've got a 6'8" guy that shoots 3-pointers. What else does he bring to the court for your team?
He's a complete player. I mean, he's a great rebounder as well. He's actually been, and not a lot of people know this, but he's been guarding usually the best player on every team. And part of that's he's big, long, and he's got some length, but he's taken that role and really ran with it. Now we put Cooper, who's one of our better defenders, on a lot of guys too, but we don't really want him guarding. We want him guarding whoever's bringing the ball up the floor. And that way he can try to get some steals and things like that. But Ring's done a great job on that aspect, and then of course his shooting's just tremendous as well.
So, what have you learned the most playing for Coach Combs, Ring?
Put him on the spot.
I mean, what I learned most is just be patient, and just keep working. Just be ready for opportunity every time. Just keep doing what you do. Just play your game, and everything gonna come right. And just keep working and trust the process.
What part of your game has improved the most during your time at Barton?
I think,
because I imagine you could always shoot pretty well, right?
Yeah, kind of.
But now you're guarding the best player on every team.
So I would say my defense improved, because last year I was kind of I didn't really know my defense wasn't that good, but this year I felt like I really improved in my defense, and just try to be take the challenge of guarding everybody, whatever the coach put me on, I just take it.
Jeremy, is he a guy that can guard anybody on the other team? I mean, get guards and things like that, but he's got some versatility.
Yeah, so we have a lot of guys that can do that. That's the beauty of our defense. I mean, we have a luxury of having a 6'5" point guard that if you decide you want to switch, you can. And a lot of times our guards do get on the bigs, and because we switch 5 ways, and so they can guard 1 through 5. Honestly, the smallest guy on our team, and Amir, he can guard the 5. I mean, I've always said, people always ask me if we, going to change that up, and we don't, because he's just such a tough little dude that he just doesn't even let him get the ball, So, it's a good thing to have that, and Ring's tremendous with it.
So you're from the Sudan, correct?
Yeah, South Sudan.
Okay, all right. So what's your hometown? How do you pronounce that?
Twitch.
Twitch. Okay. So I would imagine growing up as a small young man, were you ever small or?
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't imagine that you had a Barton Cougar poster on your wall growing up in Sudan. Okay. So how did you find out about Barton and Coach Combs and your journey to get here?
So actually, how I found out about Barton, I have one of my boys that we came from Africa together. We lived together in California. He played here a few years back. I don't know if you guys know Evans, but yeah. And I mean, Coach Combs liked how he played, and then he told Coach Combs about me, and we just started building a relationship with Coach Combs. And I was like, yeah. I mean, since one of my boys play here, and now he's in D1, so I was like, yeah, I might as well come,
Did you make a visit here, or was it just seeing pictures?
No, actually, I had a visit. I came in, and I liked everything about Barton. It was such a great environment, the school and the staff and the people. So,
how did you find out about Ring?
Through Evans. Evans was telling us
sure.
about him, and we actually saw some of his stuff. He went to a prep school before. And we had kind of seen some of his stuff as well, and there was a lot about this young man out there. We weren't sure we were going to get him just because we'd figured he'd make it to a Division I school, but the way this transfer portal's going these days, we're able to get some of those guys that typically in a regular year probably would have been at a Division I school already. And so we've been able to kind of take advantage of that a little bit.
I think you may have said this, and maybe you're talking about another of your players, because I said, you have different reactions when guys say, hey, I'm going to come to Barton. Okay, well, it's good. Well, what do you think when Ring told you he was coming?
Where the program was and where we wanted to be, we knew, like, if we wanted to make it to that next level and really make an impact, we knew he was going to be one of those guys. He came in last year and did really, really well, and then towards the end of the year when we were making that run to the region tournament, man, he was playing phenomenal. And so we were really excited about him coming back this year and then having Mose and some of those guys and knew that we were going to have a team that could, contend for a championship.
Ring, you're 22-1 on the season. What makes this team work, in your opinion?
I think we just have like a good team. We just bond with each other, and especially like a lot of newcomers last year and new guys this year. I just feel like it's just a special team, like how we just stay with each other together every time, how we practice, how we joke around, and just the little stuff.
You guys satisfied now?
I mean, we're not yet. We did not do nothing yet. I mean, we lost last year in the final, and I think we just coming this year. We just got to prove that we really should have won it, and we just still hungry.
Okay. Those 13 in a row. Now you're just going out to Goodland. It's Northwest Tech, right?
Yeah.
And Coffeyville's not as good as they have been, but they traveled, 7 hours down there and got a win against Coffeyville, and they're playing better right now, Northwest Tech.
Well,
it's a weird place. You go out there, and everything's brown and gold, and then they're red. And
Yep. Well, I mean, Coffeyville played pretty well that game. They had some guys that went off, and they had a kid that scored 31 or 32 in that game. But they just shot the lights out of it and then got into the paint. They shot a ton of free throws. I think they only missed one free throw in the game or something like that, something crazy. So they shot at a really high clip, and, their defense is different. They want to run a 1-3-1 defense, and they're trapping all over the place. And like you said, we're going to go somewhere else. It's going to be a different time zone, and it'll be interesting to see how many fans are there. I think we went there one year, and there wasn't hardly anybody there, and then we went the year before that, and there was quite a few people there, so it'll be interesting to see how that is. But we've been pretty mature on the road and been able to take care of business, and hopefully we can do the same thing.
Man, you've had to bring it, you last 3 games for sure. I mean, the Cloud, the Cali, and then you get this, and you just, you got to ramp it up again.
Yeah, it's really what I was talking to another coach in our conference just this morning, and it's kind of what I love about this is every night you gotta be on edge, you gotta be ready to go, you gotta be locked in, and if you don't, you can lose in this conference. And it's kind of like one of those deals where it's a roller coaster ride. Your adrenaline's going, you're fired up, you get ready for this game, then it's over with, and you kind of can relax a little bit. But then by the time you get home, you're like, well, I better start working on the next one. And then you're ramped up again. So, but it's a night in and night out thing in this conference.
One thing interesting you don't usually say about junior college basketball teams, mature. It seems like you got a mature team.
I really do. After that game, we were pretty excited, and of course, I wanted them to celebrate it, and we played well, and they're never satisfied. They're ready. They still have more things that they want to accomplish, and so the focus doesn't go away. And hopefully it stays like that. I mean, we can definitely stub our toe, but hopefully that focus stays in there, and if it does, this could be a special run for these guys.
Ring, obviously you're going to be getting some other offers to play after Barton. How do you separate the two? Okay, well, this is where I'm going to be going next, but you're here now. How do you separate that, looking ahead yet taking care of what's going on right now?
I mean, it's just like just playing in junior college and hopefully the next level is just like separation. Like I'm gonna just take like what I learned from junior college and take it to the next level and just see how I can expand my game to the next level and stuff.
Are you gonna stop and let him see the world's largest groundhog in Oakley? I mean,
we should. I mean, we've been to enough places, and when you go down the Liberal, there's stuff, and go up to Concordia. It's
okay.
Yeah, we definitely should.
I just want to make sure you're taking care of these guys so they can see some of the sights in Kansas, right? Guys, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Good
for
luck,
us.
Jeremy, and have a safe trip. Thank you very much, Ring. Good luck.
Thank you.
Jeremy Combs, Ring Maleeth here with us on Sports Day. Connor Nickel coming up next.
Venture Corporation is a homegrown company with almost 50 years of experience in asphalt, paving, and construction. And they need equipment operators, mechanics, and CDL drivers.
I think we saw
Venture
it last
offers
year.
many benefits, including 401k and Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance. Call Leslie for all the details. Work for a family-owned and family-oriented company that is here today and will be here in the future. Venture Corporation, South Highway 281, Great Bend, is an equal opportunity employer.
We get it. Life is busy. It's a constant rush from work to home to sports practice and still trying to have quality time with your family. The latest technology from Nextech Wireless can help keep you connected and organized. Right now, when you get a new phone, you can get an Apple Watch or tablet on us. Stop by a store near you and visit with one of our wireless experts today. Nextech Wireless. Home on the range.
It's Friday, and that means game day in the Golden Belt. To help us prime the pump, Sports Day brings you Sunflower Sports Solutions, Connor Nickel.
Connor Nickel joins us on Friday, and here we head down the home stretch. Heck, we've got regional girls wrestling starting next week. We'll probably hit wrestling a little bit more on next week's show. But Connor Nickel, Sunflower Sports Solutions, with us, and Connor, of course, getting us this platform, I'll call it. Is that a good way to call it? Sunflower Sports Solutions? Okay. So what's the most gratifying thing of getting this thing going and now seeing it several months into what it's become, Connor?
Yeah, certainly. So it's just been a great experience. And what's so cool is even this week, I had people contact me saying, my athletes of the week this past week, specifically on the male side, I had a lot of really nice comments. It was Brandon Price. He's in the Scott City area, and he was a great offensive lineman, first team All-State. He's also a 285-pound guy. He's not a quarterback. He's not some other positions that get highlighted a lot, and I kind of wrote about his season, not only in wrestling but in the fall, and I got a lot of really nice comments about that. And then on the girls' side, Smith Center had a girl that reached 1,000 career points, and her aunt is Smith Center's all-time scorer. Of course, played at Creighton, and she just passed her mom, the Kettenberg girl. Of course, her mom is a Finch, as is her aunt. Of course, the Finches are very, very well known. So, I kind of made a comment on that Smith Center, out of the top 5 scorers all time in Smith Center history, 3 of them are very, very close family. And, and that was one thing that I really wanted to do with Sunflower. It's something I think I've done over the years is highlight things that oftentimes other people don't see.
Yeah.
And so that's something that I've really enjoyed doing with my site. There is multiple girls wrestling stories in the works. I'm going to be out and about here over the next week or so. I think that's going to be a super compelling 4-1A race with a lot of Western teams very much in the mix. We'll probably talk about that more coming up.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's get to it today. And looking at the games in our area, one big one tonight, and you've got 2 ranked teams going at it in La Crosse, Central Plains at La Crosse. Let's talk about that boys matchup, and this should be a fun one tonight in Leopardtown. Yeah,
this should be a great game, and has honestly, mammoth CPL league race titles here on the line. CP has just improved so much. You look back at these last couple of years, and some of those years, of course, they still went to state. But 10 wins, 6 wins, 4 wins, 9 wins, and then they're up to only have a few losses this year. I think only 3 losses this season. So just a really huge turn. Ryan has put together a really nice season. They've got higher, I think, just overall numbers in their in their program. They've got a lot of really good players. I mean, Peyton Ryan is a terrific player. Obviously, his family certainly is really, really good. But what they've done is they're just kind of built, and they're just doing a lot of really good things. I was able to take them in earlier this year when they played TMP, and they won that game 45-28. And TMP has put up actually quite a few points on quite a few teams this year. I believe outside of when TMP has played 5 6A teams, such as Hayside and some of those, that is the fewest points that TMP has scored this season. And their defense this year is just really, really strong. You go through all of their totals, and even a win against Maxville, 50-40. Maxville's consistently higher, scoring 70 points a game. And again, Central Plains' defense this year has been really superb. In fact, I don't know if there's been more than, say, two Acacia teams who have scored over 45 against Central Plains this year. Obviously, lacrosse, high expectation season, probably the highest for the program in 30 years. 13-2 coming in, 8 straight wins. Coach Schmidt plays at a extremely fast pace, something we've talked about throughout the season. They are averaging 62 points per game. So you've got some offense versus defense. That the style that lacrosse plays under Coach Schmidt, those kids have bought in. Lee Perrick, the sophomore, averaging well over 14 points per game. Skillet, obviously, Caden Morgan, a steady player. The Perrick kid, his ability to shoot the ball this year, which was at times something that lacrosse struggled with last year, has made a pronounced difference. I mean, statistically speaking, Lee is the best shooter in Kansas right now, truly. 48% from beyond the arc and 53 threes. That is the difference as to why that team went from a state qualifier last year to a state title contender this year.
Connor Nickel with us right now. What are the chances of those two teams reaching the state tournament this year?
Yeah, I think that, they both are, viable state, even state title game contending teams. I really, really do. This is that class is going to be really interesting to watch. Pulling up some things here, but yeah, I would say that both teams, when you have a lacrosse team with the pace they play at, an extremely experienced player in Morgan, and the shooting ability they have, and obviously Central Plains with that experience too, those are recipes that say Final Four team, if not better.
Maxville has been staying in the rankings at number 10, I think about 3 straight weeks. I thought maybe they'd be out, but obviously they're getting some respect. Jeff Kuckelman's a great coach, defending champions. Is Maxville still a threat in 1A, Connor?
Well, yes and no. Their major thing is, again, they play at the extreme pace as well too. But you want to see stronger defense out of them. They're allowing about 53 points per game, which you just don't see state contender teams allow that many points. South Gray, Mark Applegate's got another incredible team this year. I think they've lost one game. They're averaging 30s, low 40s. Maxville's allowing quite a few points, and obviously they play at a very high rate. But last year, Maxville's defense on a per possession average, they led the state in steal rate. This year, Maxville just is not generating the turnovers in defense comparable to last year, and part of that is, they don't have the same personnel. Now, Maxville's still scoring at a really high rate. Obviously, Diego Esparza, 25 points per game. Maxville doesn't shoot it as well as last year, and again, when you graduate that class, you're going to see that drop. I think if Maxville could reach state, that would be a really huge feather in their cap. But I think they are a step behind the two teams that we talked about prior.
Okay, I stirred the pot when I got back on Wednesday. I was out of the country, and then I thought that Great Bend beat Hayes on that Friday night game, but I was gone, and then I came back and surprisingly saw that Great Bend had lost that game, okay? Great Bend's 11-5, okay? And I saw it individually. We both know he was in Great Bend, and we were just talking about the Panthers, and he said something very interesting to me, and maybe this is a Hayes perspective, but he said, I thought Great Bend would be better this year, and I kind of thought about it. I said, well, my expectations are really high, and they still remain that way, but they are 11-5. They are at home tonight against Garden City. So should they be better? I don't know. What is the perspective from north of 96 about the Great Bend Panther boys?
Certainly, no, and I'm going to say some things, and it's not probably not. I'm probably not going to be well liked, but I truly believe that Great Bend is an elite offensive team. They are really good offensively. They are a below-average defensive team, and that might be a stretch. And so what they have done is a lot of these teams, they go down to the Big House last Friday, and they allow, 62 points per game in that game. Of course, they win by 8. You go through all of their scores. The Andover loss, they allow 95 points per game. They beat a really good Abilene team by 6. But you're still allowing in the 50s. Now, Hutch, they give up 71. You look at some games, Junction City in the 60s. Sunrise Christian, non-Keisha, but still in the 60s. I remember a coach telling me this quite a long time ago, a boys coach, saying that if we score 60, we should always win. Like that, there should be no maybe we lose or maybe this happens. No, if we reach 60 points a game, we should win the game. We should figure out a way to win. And, Great Bend has reached that 60 mark or very, very high 50s a number of times this year and lost. And so there has to be a mindset, and I would say this about some other teams too, of no matter how cool we're going to be offensively, no matter what great highlight reels we're going to do, we have to be a better defensive team. And that was something, honestly, that Sean Dreiling at Hayes High, beloved coach. I mean, Sean Dreiling is a Mark Johnson disciple, and Fort Hays State right now led Division II in scoring defense last year. They're number 2 in scoring defense this year. And Sean Dreiling said we have to have an ability and a grit and an energy to play defense. As Coach Dreiling says, play with fire. And if you match up the athleticism and the bodies for Hayes High against a number of other teams out there, Hayes High should probably lose. But they play with a fire on both ends, and they play with chemistry, and they play together. And there's a reason why Hayes High is leading the WAC and some other teams are not. Now, is the margin slim? Yes. But slim margins, 2% difference, can make a huge difference on which team wins and which team does not win. And so far in the WAC, that 2% has made a huge difference in the standings thus far.
Great Bend home tonight against Garden City for homecoming. Hayes travels to Liberal tonight. Dodge City is at Colby. Is there a feeling that, Hayes High's got Great Bend's number? I mean, you threw out some numbers a couple weeks ago on how this series has gone in the last decade, and it's pretty alarming if you're a Panther fan.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I don't know if there's a real statistical way to prove this, but there is enough, I guess, percolation, and there's been some discussion, even going back to last fall and the last couple of years, that Great Bend, and again, this is from the Hayes perspective,
yes,
and this is not just players, this is just fans and people who, observers, probably a good way to say it, that Great Bend has a mental block when playing Hayes High. and that that's kind of borne out, and that's been more on the boys' side. I've not heard that on the girls' side. That's been more depending on the sport. Great Bend has won more of those. But when you look at boys basketball and football, and when you match up talent and teams, sometimes it comes down to those other things: grit, toughness, mindset, and Hayes High has won more of those games.
Well, it's, again, a great way to end the season. They're going to do it here at the Fieldhouse in a couple of weeks. Before we let you go today, Chiefs or 49ers? I'm
going to say Chiefs. You can't go against 87 and 15. They're going to find a way. Kyle Shanahan's a brilliant coach. Grew up a Bronco fan, so I remember Kyle Shanahan when he was a young kid. But I think the Chiefs win.
I hope you are right. McCaffrey scares me to death, so we'll just see how that goes. Connor, thanks so much. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Certainly. Sounds good. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Connor Nickel with us here on Sports Day, Sunflower Sports Solutions. Go check it out. Become a subscriber, man. Get the latest news, especially in this part of the state for high school sports. No one does it better. Our show brought to you today by Equity Bank. No ATM fees nationwide. Learn more at equitybank.com. And Advanced Therapy and Sports Medicine. Get your life back. And the American Plains Co-op Bulk Fuel Department. Your certified Cenex
From the
lubricant
Mayo
dealer
Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB, Great Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Wright, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes.
There's nothing like A-STEM therapy. This is Tim Marcus from Progressive Physical Therapy in Hayes. Research shows A-STEM therapy improves muscle performance and neural functioning. It's highly effective for those dealing with tennis elbow, carpal tunnel, sports injuries, and general aches and pains.
You don't need to hurt. Physical therapy can help. Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
Central and Western Kansas residents, are you looking for a new vehicle? Marmy Auto Group can make it happen. Marmy Auto Group includes Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep and Ram, Chevrolet, and GMC. Marmy Auto Group, your Central and Western Kansas dealer, has new and pre-owned vehicles, or we can special order your vehicle today. If your existing vehicle needs serviced, Marmy's award-winning service department can help. Come to Marmy Auto Group on 10th or marmys.net. Marmys, make it happen.
Sports Day presents On the Prowl with Mike Corson, an inside look at all the sports taking place at Great Bend High School.
Welcome back to Sports Day, 1590 KVGB 95.5 FM. Mike Corson joined today by Panther swim coach Kerry Carper. Coach, we finally got it. Some really good news yesterday at the WAC Championships at Barton Community College.
Yeah, we did. The guys swam well. Casey was finally able to swim his two best events. He hasn't been able to swim them all season just because of pain levels. And him and I talked, and he's like, Coach, it's WAC. I'm a senior. I want to try it. So we put him in the 200 IM, and he actually ended up getting a state consideration time in that. And he actually got a second from his fastest time ever, which is just impressive in itself considering the limited ability that he's been able to train this year. And then he turned around and swam the 100 fly. He added time from his best time, but he was able to get an automatic state time. So he can for sure go to state on that. And then he won both of those individual events. So we were excited for him to do that. And then, Adam Hall, his goal going into the season was he wanted to get a consideration time in that 50 free, and we started about 5 seconds off of that time. And yesterday he turned around and cut another full second to go at 24:43, and he got his consideration time, and he's only about a second off of the state or the automatic state time. So, we're going to put that consideration time in and hope that he gets into state on that.
Let's go back to Casey Kennedy because we're talking the race is less than a minute. And so he comes in just about half a second under the automatic time. At what point do you get the sense as the coach that, hey, this might happen?
We were pretty confident that it was going to happen before the race even started, just because his best time is, a good second half under the automatic time. And that kid's just got enough fight in him that he knows what he needs to do to get what he needs to get done. So as soon as he hit that 50 mark and I saw that his split was a 25, I knew he had it in the bag.
And we've talked about all year you're going to taper down, maybe put on the tech suits. Anything in particular like that led to these faster times this week?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we started tapering last Friday, and then we just kind of backed off on yards up until Thursday. Wednesday, we just hopped in, just got the guys in the water, did a long warm-up, ran through some starts, and got them out. So, we only had about a 30-minute practice on Wednesday. Casey and Adam both had the tech suits on. And then the guys all completely shaved their arms, backs, chests, legs, all the things. So that helps as well.
Talking to Panther swim coach Kerry Carper. Yeah, what was his reaction time? Because, we're talking half a second here. He probably is not seeing a whole lot underwater. What's his reaction time when he pops up and sees that he made it?
At the finish, he was in so much pain that I don't think he really cared. He was just relieved that he made it through the race because we weren't 100% sure that he was going to even be able to do that. So I think there was more relief that he had made it through the race. And then as he recuperated and started feeling a little bit better, I think there was a little bit of excitement there that he got the state time.
So there's 12 events at a regular meet, and you guys took league titles in 3 of them. Just how pleased to have that performance last time out this year.
Yeah, no, we were excited. We've kind of struggled with placing all season long. We knew Casey was going to run away with the 200 IM and the 100 fly. We knew he had those in the bag. We knew there was nobody that could even come close to him. But Adam is the one that shocked me. He went into the 50 free, seated 5th. And he came out, and when they went into that turn, he was not in first place at that 25 turn. He was in 3rd, and his turns have been his nemesis all season. He has struggled with his turns, and he nailed his turn. And he came out of that turn. He came out of the turn probably a good body length ahead of everybody. And then he just cranked it out, and for that first place finish, it was a tight race, but he really worked hard to get that first place. And then same thing in the 100. I mean, he got second place in the 100 by only 0.2 of a second. So he raced well.
And so some of the kids that didn't qualify, Jordan Sander, Matthew Williams, the 500 free relay. Let's talk about some of those other kids that, they worked just as hard as everybody, but maybe didn't have the times this year.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the 500 free was another event that we knew we were going to place pretty strong in. Unfortunately, I had one guy that was going to swim it that got sick, so he wasn't able to swim. But Matthew Williams, last meet he cut 30 seconds in the 500, which is big time cut. And then yesterday he turned around and cut another 6, and he got himself a 3rd place finish. He used to swim club as a little kid, but he hasn't swam for probably a good 6 to 7 years. So, and he's a junior and decided to come out his first year of high school and turned around and earned himself a 3rd place medal in the 500. So that's pretty impressive in itself. And then Jordan Sanders, he also is only a 2nd-year swimmer, has no swim experience under his belt other than last year. He cut, I think it was like 50 seconds last week in the 500, and then he turned around and cut another 10 yesterday in the 500 and got 4th place. So we went 3-4 in the 500, which gained us a lot of points. And then our 200 free relay, I put Josh Sharp on that relay instead of Matthew Williams, just to kind of see what Josh could do. And I knew Matt was going to be tired coming off that 500 free, so I put Josh on there, and Josh swam his best 50 free he's ever swam. They went a 1:44.09. They cut another 3 seconds, and they just missed state consideration by a second. So, those 2 events we finished really strong in, too.
So kind of one more here. They had the consideration in auto times and swimming, so no regional action. So this could have been your last season because it was announced that Courtney Wilson's going to take over for the girls' side.
Yep.
So just how awesome to have this one extra meet to go to in Topeka.
Yeah, I'm excited to go to state. Like I said, Casey's not 100% sure if he's going to be recouped enough to go to state. And we're going to put Adam's consideration time in for that 50 free, and we're just going to hope that he gets in. but we're not going to know about those consideration times until probably Wednesday morning. So means a couple more practices next week just to see, just so that we are in the water in case we do get in. I'm super excited for Courtney to be the head coach for the girls. She's a little nervous, but she's going to do a great job. She's come out and watched some practices. She was out there with us at WAC yesterday. So I'm excited for Courtney, and I think that she'll do a great job with the girls team.
Coach Carrie Carper, congratulations. 4th place team finish, but finally big cuts all year and 3 individual WAC champions. So congratulations.
Thank you.
More Sports Day after this.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Zach Strite, commercial lender for Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time, and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people. I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. At Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
When it comes to car maintenance, it's good to know a local guy that can get things done. The Eller family has been in the auto repair business in Great Bend forever. Greg Eller continues that long tradition of helping people. Eller Automotive Repair specializes in wheel alignments, oil changes, and general maintenance for all makes and models of cars and small trucks. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4 Fridays. Eller Automotive Repair at 915 Morton, right behind Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source, 10th and Morton.
The need for nurses is constant. Barton Community College offers practical and registered nursing programs in Great Bend and Pratt. The affordable and challenging coursework is taught by experienced instructors who care about you and have a passion for teaching. Get hands-on training for this high-demand field with state-of-the-art simulation labs and on-site clinicals. The application deadline is March 1st. Apply online at nursing.bartonccc.edu.
It's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Welcome back to Sports Day here for about another minute or so. Steve Webster, Aaron Clark, Mike Hesher still with us. Aaron Clark, he'll have your call tonight. Great Bend and Garden City. B1043 The Point at 545. Hits 106.9 tonight. Larned taking on Heston. And on 100.7 Eagle Country, Gene Manweiler, Mike Hesher from Lions tonight as the Cardinals take on Lions. Those are broadcast games tonight. Interesting news out of the Pac-12.
The former Pac-12.
The former Pac-12.
Now the Big Ten. Chip Kelly, gone as head coach of UCLA. He's taking the offensive coordinator job at Ohio State. From what I can tell, it's not a firing. It's Kelly leaving under his own will and going to be an offensive coordinator, from head coach of the Bruins to offensive coordinator of the Buckeyes. A Big Ten conference move now. Kind of an interesting one to see. Don't typically see a lateral move like that.
That's whatever makes you happy. Folks, have a great weekend.